Hey,
Hey.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're wearing blue.
Yes. Oh, see, we didn't even plan it.
No.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Great minds think alike.
Yes. I'm
Yes.
so happy to have you here, but let me
Me
just do
too.
a formal welcome.
Yes.
Welcome everyone to Next Online with Woodleen. It's been a while. It's been about I think 2 years since I've done a live. Life has been lifing, and I've been on serious mommy duties and other things going on. Tonight, I have my sister, Gerla Sterling, here tonight to
Yes.
just share her story and her experience um, after leaving like a toxic relationship and just her journey of being a single mom. Gerla, I think I met you maybe over 20 years
Yes.
ago.
It's been since we were young,
Yes, yes.
it's been a while.
Yes,
Shiloh days and all that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like through our involvement in our like respective churches
Right.
that we served in at the time.
Right.
I always saw you as a strong woman of faith.
Thank
Every
you.
time I saw you, you were always fly.
I'm
um,
trying to keep it up now, but I can't with my son. I guess
you
you understand.
can.
I'm trying.
So, Driller, for those who may not know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Gerla Sterling, as Woodleen already said. I'm a mom, been a single mom for a couple of years now. And right now I work for the state of New Jersey. And, I'm a full-time mom. I'm in a full-time career. I also run an organization for single parents, and I'm a doula. So I'm adding,
Wow.
it's so much going on, but I've been a little quiet with the organization for a little bit because I got some projects that I'm, igniting to come out with. So that's me,
Exciting.
just a mama, trying to do her mama thing and just wearing many different hats. Right.
Awesome. So we're gonna get right into
Yes.
it. Like you said, you are a single mom. So we grew up in a culture where you were expected to marry your partner if you become pregnant outside of marriage.
Right.
When you found out you were pregnant in 2019, like what was going through your mind? Were
Oh.
you were you pressured into getting married, and how did your village and church respond to your news?
Extremely pressured to get marriage because first of all, I grew up in the church. My dad is a minister along with my mom, so that right there, it's like my dad was like a little extra too because he sat down because I was pregnant at 36, right? And so yes, it was extreme pressure. It's like you have to get married because you knew you slept with this guy, so obviously you wanted something more, so
Mhm.
you need to get married. So it was a lot of pressure. It's also a cultural thing that we have to deal with. I didn't At the time, I wasn't really in the Haitian church. I
Okay.
was at Hillsong at that time. So those churches, not trying to be funny to my Haitian churches, but the traditionalized Haitian churches, those
Mhm.
churches are more, sensitive to, situations like myself. They don't pressure you to do these things. They definitely counsel you and tell you what do you think you should do. But
Okay.
with the Haitian church, I wasn't getting the pressure because I wasn't there, but I guess they were getting the pressure. My parents were getting the pressure. So that's why they like, okay, well, everything was image, our
Yes.
parents, everything's image. Like that's the era they grew up in. It's like, your child is pregnant, so so that's why I said my father was a bit extra. He said he sat himself down from ministering, and I'm like, I have my personal walk with God. Now I'm 36 years old. You don't need to sit down for me. But I don't know. So yes, I had a lot of pressure, and I didn't get support. I mean,
Hmm.
you would never kind of really know who was with you and who wasn't because people were laughing. They was, how you doing, da, da, da. And then you'll hear that, oh, girl, I can't believe she got pregnant and she wasn't married. She in the church. Don't get me wrong. I know right from wrong. And yes,
Hmm.
I was. outside of the biblical, what God wants from us, because we know how he
Yeah.
wants it. However, things happen. Like, we're human, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna sin. We want to get better, we want to do better, and that's why God is like, look, read, pray, read your Bible, whatever. But at that time, clearly I wasn't doing that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Got okay. You mentioned that your dad sat down. Like, for those who may not have grown up in the church, what does that mean?
So that means that it's like a sanction. He
Okay.
sanctioned himself in a sense. So it's like, well, you are pregnant, and I can't preach because I'm telling other people what not to do, but my child is doing it. But then where my confusion was a little bit with him, I get it, but it was like, but I'm older now. I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, he might have. I don't know. I think he was embarrassed too. So
Mm.
it's a sanction. It's like he sanctioned himself. The pastor didn't sanction him, but he sanctioned himself.
And what was going through your mind when you found out?
I was devastated because I can't even believe I was pregnant. Like, it took me a
Mm.
while. Sometimes I look at my son until right now, and I'm like, I can't believe I have a whole child. Like, like, I still. So could you imagine just finding out? Like, I was devastated. It took me 2 months to tell my parents. I didn't tell them right away.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't tell them because I didn't know what to say. But I had to hurry up and tell them because they were in Haiti, and I think they were coming. They were coming
Okay.
back within 2 months. I was like, okay, I gotta tell them before they get here. At least,
Wow.
I get that out, the way. So yeah, so it was very devastating, very hard for me, because I also didn't have a great relationship too much with my son's father as
Mm.
well. Like, our, what we wanted was two separate
Okay.
things. So it was like, oh man, I don't want to do that to the child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to raise your child with a mom and a dad together, and you want that,
Yeah.
but sometimes that's just not the plan.
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah.
Um, I know I've seen posts where you shared like 2020 was like a challenging year for you. So what
Mhm.
happened to you that year?
2020 was when I finally decided to take my dignity back, because
Hmm.
um I was dealing with a narcissist as well. So, like, I didn't even know who I was. So here I
Wow.
am. I know I was gonna become a single mother. I knew it because we always know, women. We know, we have that intuition, and I'm
Wow.
like, I don't even know who I am. Like, I promise you, I'm like, I would look in the mirror like, where's the Gerla I used to know?
Hmm.
Like, this is not you. What's going on? And then I have to raise my son. And it's like, that's the hardest thing, because he was also having a hard time falling asleep. He was having nightmares, everything. So I remember when I finally decided, like, I need to get a therapist,
Okay.
because I don't know what to do. And some people might think this is kind of crazy, because you're like, she's 36. No, not in our culture.
Mm.
It's a whole nother ball game. So when my son, I noticed that he was having trouble falling
Okay.
asleep, and my therapist was like, well, one of the things that's going on is because you're troubled. And you have that connection. And the minute you're troubled, he
Mm.
feels that. I mean, he would stand up and, like, he would just be looking at me, like, and would not fall asleep, like my son, and he would start crying and everything. And I was troubled at the time because I didn't know who I was. I felt that I felt my family. I felt that I felt my friends. Well, my friends, I guess, my like my family,
Okay.
because my family, they held a very high standard of me. And that's why I always tell people, please do not look at me like up at a pedestal, or nor do I look at other people like that, because at the end of the day, they're human. So I'm like, please don't, because when that happened, I had family members that started crying. I mean, I was already dealing with stuff. I don't need you coming here crying, like. So it was very hard. And then I was finding out a lot of other things about my son's father that was
Mm.
crazy. I mean, it was just, it was bad. So
Okay.
so I was like, okay, I have to do something about this. I'm not one that don't know that every problem, there's something that you can, it can be
Yeah.
solved, but you just have to follow whatever God is asking. Or you, for me, I went into prayer. Like, that was my thing, that was my weapon. And then I had a sister from the church, her name is Sister Sherwood. And I remember when I was growing up, I was young, and she would always make me sit on her laps. I could remember that back in the
Was she
day.
at your event?
She was,
What
yes,
event
she
you
was
invited
at
me to?
my
I think I
event.
met her.
Yes,
Okay.
her.
She was
Yep.
really nice. Yeah.
Yes. So I remember her. So she happened to call me one day and was like, is everything okay? Mind you, I never said anything to anyone, nothing. And then I said, no, it's not. So, um, she was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be here for you. So I want you to download the U version. It was already in my phone. She said, I
Okay.
need you to go into devotional plans, read your like Bible, pray,
Okay.
even if it start with 1 minute, or even if you don't have nothing to say to God. Because sometimes growing up, they make us feel like if you don't say nothing to God, then you going to hell. Like, it's kind of like that. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, sometimes you don't have nothing to say to God, because I went through that. It's my
Mhm.
heart that spoke to God. Sometimes I had to turn on my worship
Yeah.
music and just literally lay there, okay, with my son, and that was it. And I had nothing to say until I grew, more like capacity, and I was able to like speak. So she was like, start with 1 minute, 2 minutes. Then before you know it, I was at an hour and a half, two
Wow.
hours. And that's where I noticed that I started to build myself up. So with having her, it was very helpful. Then I had my brother also who was there, because I still had to deal with my parent. Well, not my mom, but mostly my dad, because he stopped
Okay.
talking to me.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I had, you know, people that was like, oh, she used to lead with praise and worship, and she used to be the youth president, and then she used to preach to us not to get pregnant. And I did. But I didn't think I was gonna, like, I don't know. You just don't know. You preach the word and you do what God asks you, but that's why sometimes you have to be careful, because you don't know what's gonna happen down the line. So for me, that was very hard, like, because I didn't know myself at all. At 2020, that picture that you see with me sitting on my I don't even know who that girl is.
Do you think COVID also played a role, or not
COVID,
really? It's
you
like
know,
we should
I
isolate ourselves and stay
the
home.
funny thing is COVID did play a role, and I think COVID showed you who everybody was for some reason. I don't know why, but COVID pointed some things out.
To you. Okay.
And I remember even with my son's father, and I said, look, it's either we gonna make this work, and I said, I believe in family,
Okay.
or we're not. Because I'm not gonna do this like this baby mama,
Yeah.
or I have 4 or 5 kids for you and no ring. I'm breaking that. I'm not doing that. That's gonna break. I'm not gonna continue it. So COVID showed me some things about him, and then I got to spend, because he was still coming to help me with the child. This is before I broke up with him,
Okay.
and he was coming to my house helping me with the baby. And then I started to see certain things about him and
Hmm.
other women, and all this stuff started to come up, and I'm like, whoa. So I think COVID, yes and no. Yes,
Okay.
it did.
Wow.
Hmm.
I know you shared that you were in a toxic relationship. What made the relationship toxic?
Oh, because he used to like, people, when someone degrade you, it don't always have to call you a B word or a hoe. It don't
Hmm.
always have to be that. It's like, oh, well, why do you look like that? Why are you wearing that? Like, look how
Hmm.
you look. Like, I remember I had makeup in my face one day. I used to always like wearing makeup because that was just me. I'm very girly. And one day I
Fabulous.
was driving in the car, right? I was in the car with him,
Okay.
and he was like, what is this crap you have on your face? Like,
Hmm.
take this crap. And I'm like, what? I said, why are you touching my face? He was like, yeah, you don't look good. You
Hmm.
you look horrible with it. Um, it was just like the things that he would do and say. And then not only that, it was like everything was me, 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 me. Okay, well, why you not doing this and why you not doing that? It wasn't enough.
Hmm.
And then I'm whoring myself out. I'm talking about everything in me, but nothing, like for him it was not enough. And it was like it's a suck, like they were, it wasn't just him, it was him and his family, so I had to cut everybody off. So they
Okay.
sucked me dry, like so much that, like, it was just really bad. I didn't even realize that I was sucked into such a toxic relationship, because they were also trying to be a part of the relationship, the family. So they would come to me, oh, he's not good, he's this, he's that. But then him, I found out that they had stuff to say with him, all this stuff. And then I'm just like, you know what? I can't do this, because, I'm raising a child now. Like, when you have a child, I feel like if a child can't change, doesn't change you, I feel like you just, I don't know. You need an intervention from the Lord, because a child like should change you. So I'm like, I don't want my child raising up in that type of environment, and I don't want my child seeing that certain things that his father's doing, that it's okay to treat women like that, or to talk down at me. Or when we were supposed to even get married, and when we were being forced, and this was October 2019, and he was like, well, just know, if we get married, that if you're not happy in a relationship, just know you caused that, because I didn't want to be married. I was
Hmm.
like, what? So I was like, okay, you hit me and the right button. I'm not married. I said, I'm not doing this. I'm not. So he went to my parents, narcissist. Oh, well, Gerla, she doesn't want to get married or whatever anymore, and stuff like that. Then my father's calling me, because his image is on the line.
Yes.
So it's like, and I'm like, okay, I'll let y'all know. But I already knew in my head I wasn't doing it. And that, I feel like that was the time where, like, that was my first, like, okay, Gerla, like, you not playing. And I did not do it. So it was a lot of, like, nothing I did was
Good
ever
enough.
good. Never. It was like walking on eggshells. Um, I remember I had a checkup for the baby
Okay.
one time. He came with me, and then he was like, oh, how come I can't see your account? What you need to see my account for? Like, what is it? Oh, oh yeah, because it seems like, you never, like, you don't trust me, I guess. You're like, oh, you're 36 years
Hmm.
old, but it seemed like you don't have anything. And but
Wow.
just because it seems like, it doesn't mean. It was that I never trusted him on that level to let him know what I had and what I didn't have. And number
Wow.
two, I'm not married to you. I don't owe you that. You understand? I'm not good enough to marry you, but you want to know my finances, what that's going on. So it was just like, I remember that day. That's a couple of days later, they had me go into labor, because my blood pressure was high, and
Oh
the
my gosh.
protein, it was really bad. So it was just bad. Like, it wasn't good at all. And I started crying, and the doctor was like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, everything's okay. But I was just crying, like, oh my God. You know what I mean? I can't believe what I'm dealing with.
Hmm. Was he someone you knew, like growing up, or is like someone you like recently met at the time?
He was not somebody I knew, and
Okay.
that's the problem. Sometimes when you first meet someone, and even when it's someone that you got to take your time. You got to do your research. You got to pray, in my opinion, because I'm a Christian. You got to pray. You got to, really dig deep. I didn't know him. His I used to do business with his brother. Like, we were in
Okay.
business together. So his brother was like, "You're such a nice woman. I gotta hook you up with my brother." So he tried to hook me up with one of his other brothers that was an old man. I said, "Don't play with me." So
I
no.
can't.
So he was like, "No, you gotta be in my family, whatever." So then that's when he tried to talk to me or whatever. In a sense, it sounds
Mm.
crazy, but that's how we met. We met probably in 2018, and then 2018 we met. So we didn't know each other that long, and I was in a very vulnerable place at that time too. It was really bad. So I think, when you're vulnerable, you anything can happen. So that's why you got to be careful with who you keep around when you're going through vulnerability. So, because people, men or guys, they smell that, and they'll prey on it.
Yeah. I've seen that
Yeah.
happen, yes.
Yeah,
I know you've shared that you had no business being in a relationship with him. Like, why is that?
I had no business, girl. Cause
Like, was he a believer?
I mean, look, I serve, huh? What you
Was
say?
he a believer?
No. So he was into
Oh,
witchcraft. This is the thing. Again, I was vulnerable, right?
okay.
But when I was talking to him, like when I quote unquote was getting my data from him, he was like, "Yeah, I grew up in church, and
Hmm.
my mom." But that's what they do. It's always on the surface.
Okay.
So I didn't dig deep. I said, "Oh, okay, he was in the church. All right." And I brushed it under the bed.
Hmm.
Now, when I got deeper into the relationship, I found out that he was he was deep into his voodooism, whatever. Now, people don't come for me. I'm just saying, I don't serve the devil. Like, I'm not into the satanic thing. I believe in
Hmm.
Jesus Christ. So that does not match for the people that don't understand why I say what I say. Because some people like, oh, voodooism is a culture, whatever you think, but I don't believe in that, and I don't mingle into stuff like that because it's witchcraft.
Yeah.
So when I found out in the middle of the relationship, I didn't even know what to do because at that point, if I could be honest, I thought I loved him.
Mm,
I'm like, oh, I love him. He made me feel good or whatever. And I'm like, what do I do? Because that's not how my parents raised us, it,
yeah.
yeah. So I had no business, absolutely no business. And things started going against me. Like I couldn't keep money.
Mm,
I couldn't, I don't know. Everything was just going bad. Like
okay.
that vibe, the energy was like, oh. And then I had a friend of mine that came to me that didn't know nothing. He said, let me tell you. He said, it seemed like you got a guy in your life that you have no business with being with. Let me tell you. He said, if you stay in that relationship, you're gonna lose everything, and it may lead to your death. And he was like, you already have a child. You do not want that to happen, because the way your child will, like, what will happen
Hmm.
is it's not gonna be good. So it's either you go or you stay. And if you stay, it's not going to be good. But if you go, he said, God has so much great things in your life.
Amen.
He said, he has a great man for you. Trust me, just let it go. It's like that big teddy bear. Jesus, the little girl is, I guess the little girl has the small teddy bear, and the guy had
Behind his
Jesus had the
back.
big one. It's like, what do you want? And at that moment when he said that to me, I was still in a relationship with him,
Hmm.
but a month later we would have broke up.
Okay.
I was like, oh, you ain't gotta say no more. You ain't gotta say no more, because I had enough. I saw enough. So yeah, so it was too much, just mingling into a lot of things, to the point where he was started showing me these gods and all this stuff, and I'm like, what? Because I'm not used to that.
Yeah. What would you tell women? Like, let me go back. Why do you think some women are attracted to like toxic relationships?
Because we're toxic. And I say that because I didn't realize the toxins that I had to have come out. And that was through therapy.
Okay.
I found out so much stuff, and I'm still working on toxic. I feel like every day we're trying to get better. So we're toxic. That's why you only can draw what you are. You're unhealthy, you're going to draw an unhealthy relationship. You're toxic, you're going to draw a toxic relationship. It's I don't know if whatever it is, it you draw it. So people can see what you have. And let me tell you, I'm very healthy at this point. And I had guys that would try to come talk to me, and let me tell you, I smell them from a mile. I'm like, don't even waste your time. I'm not doing. I went through too much, did too much work for me to go into that. So when you're healthy, you attract healthy. You will. You're gonna attract it. Even if somebody else try to come, you're gonna see it, and you're not gonna even deal with that because of what mess you was dealing with. Now, a lot of times our the toxicity comes from childhood traumas or childhood things that we've never dealt with.
Dealt with, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of time that's where it come from, and it's like we start to attract these type. For me, it was mostly like I always wanted to kind of be loved. Like my dad, he loved us, but he loved, Haitian.
Providing.
He provided, but that it wasn't there. So it's not done on purpose, but
Yeah.
it's like that's what they know.
Yes.
So for me, I was always yearning for that. And that's why I'm like, I don't blame him, because I have to do the work now, because
Mm.
now I know I need to do the work. So now you begin to attract those type of people, and it's in you. That's why, personally, that's why I believe we attract toxic relationships. It's not like we do it on purpose, but if
Mm-hmm.
we're not fixing the things we need to, or trying to get better, we're going to continue to deal with a lot of toxicity. That's why they tell you, when you come out of a relationship, take some time before you go to the next one. Oh, I learned that. Okay. Yes. So.
And why do you think it's hard for women to leave those relationships?
Mm. Because emotionally we're like intertwined.
Okay.
Like, men, they're not tied into the emotions. Like I'm not saying they don't have
Mm-hmm.
emotions, but it's not like how ours are. Like, we want, it's just like it becomes so addictive. Like, our emotional being is like, it yearns it so much that it's like you can't really see clear, even when you see the person doing like things they shouldn't be doing to you. You just want to stay. I don't know. It's just
Mm.
the addiction of some people I know is sex. Some people I know is just wanted someone to be there. That was my issue. I couldn't be by
Was
myself.
that fear of being alone?
Yes,
Okay.
I hated being by myself. Like, I couldn't stand it. So every woman have something of what's keeping them there. There's something, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Mental, or for me also it was mental, but it was mostly, I didn't want to be by myself. Like, so I was like, okay, you know what I mean? You want somebody to call, like, you ain't want, you don't want
To
to be
check in,
right. You
yeah.
got
To affirm
right.
you, yeah.
Right. So I think, for me personally, I think that's what it is.
So, what advice would you give a woman who's afraid to leave an unhealthy relationship?
I would tell a woman to that is in an unhealthy relationship to leave, because when you leave,
Mm-hmm.
that's your strength of becoming to see the light on the end of the tunnel. Because, yes, it's a lot of fear. It's a lot of fear
Mm-hmm.
having to leave that relationship, but the blessings and the benefits and the greatness that comes out of you walking away is far beyond what you can ever imagine. Like, for me, like, when I left fearful, and there were times I wanted to go back. Isn't that crazy? And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, I have to have it. It's like, you become a fiend. Like, I
Okay.
have to have him with me. I can't stay without him. Like, and I remember I was like, I'm even if I have to cry myself to sleep, even if I have to, like, run, or I don't know, go outside, do some like, run a little bit, or go to the gym, or whatever that I need to do, I will do it. But I'm not going back to that relationship, because I wouldn't be going through this if he was good for me. You understand? So the benefits of it is not only for you, but it's for somebody else, that you can help. So I know it's hard. It's hard. It is hard. Trust me, it is. Because another reason why it makes it hard, because you eventually have to face yourself as a woman. You have to face yourself. And that was another issue with me. I didn't want to face Gerla, because I'm like,
Hmm.
I knew, like, I needed to deal with so much layers that was in here. So that was really hard for me. So yes, it's a lot of fear, but let me tell you, the amount of blessing, the amount
Hmm.
of load that will come off of you, and God will bless you
Hmm.
with a person that will blow your mind. Like, I mean, it's crazy. You understand? And a lot of women, don't let nobody tell you that because you have a child, you can't get a man.
Say that again.
That is okay. Let me tell y'all, woman,
Yes.
don't let
Yeah.
nobody tell you because you have a child you can't get a man. That's a lie. And because his family would tell me that, oh yeah, you gonna let another
Oh.
man raise him? Oh, he might rape him. All this kind of stuff. I said the
Wow.
devil is a liar.
Wow.
I said, not my
Why would they
child.
say that?
Yeah, they will say, people are vulgar, and
Yeah.
people say some mean and nasty things. So don't receive it. But, and that's a lie, because I'm a walking testimony. Okay. I'm a living testimony about what God can do in your life when you walk away and you go. And yes, the road can be lonely, the road can be long, but you're gonna get there. There's a tunnel at the end. I mean, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So trust me, it will happen. So just do it. Do it.
What has your healing journey looked like?
Whew, my healing journey. My healing journey, it was, in the beginning, it was rough. It was a lot of
Okay.
crying, a lot of pain, but coming, like, beginning to walk into it, and I started to loving to be by myself, to the point where it was like some of my girlfriends was like, "Wait, we gotta hook you up. Like, stop." Like, I'm like, "No, I'm okay." It was beautiful. It was a lot of tranquility. It was
Peaceful.
peaceful. Yeah, that peace,
Yeah.
that peace. I'm telling you, that's why I be trying to tell people, leave, just go. That peace is everything. And it was bad. Even so guess what? My dad, he like, no, Gerla, there's somebody, you can't stay by yourself. Oh, now you tell him, right? He like, I'm at the altar praying for you, because he was like, I don't care, I want you to be happy, but
Hmm.
just as long as it ain't with him, because I saw what you had to do with. So I was like, okay, but it's beautiful. You become happy. Even when things go wrong around you, you still have your peace. You're still happy. And I feel
True.
like that joy only comes from God. Like,
Yeah.
because it was to the point where, for me, I had my morning prayer, my morning routine prayer, where my son fall asleep, and then 4 a.m. I'm up. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait.
Wow.
Couldn't wait. At one point, I was, in the beginning, I was like, oh God, okay, but then look, but being with God, like, and then the revelations he be giving, everything he's saying is like on point.
Hmm.
It's crazy. So it was just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. People see me, they like, oh my God, you're glowing.
Hmm.
You have a
You
different look.
are.
Thank you.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's an unspeakable feeling too, that you really, it's more than peace. Like, it's peace, but it's more than peace too. It's like, it is just overwhelmingly, like, it's just a beautiful thing to just, have that, and be able to. And guess what? I'm still going through my healing journey. I'm still going through it. I'm still going through it, but it's a different type of walk, so it's something is different.
How helpful has therapy been throughout this journey?
Oh, so helpful, so helpful. My therapist was just amazing, and she not only helped me, she helped me with my son, like, to raise my son.
That's,
And it was
that's awesome.
extremely, yes, it was extreme, because she was my mom as well. So she was like, this is what you need to do. So she was teaching me, because my mom, she would call me every day, but
Okay.
she lived in Florida. So, like, there's certain things too, I don't like to tell my parents too, well, my mother, because that could stress her out. Because then I
Hmm.
was also having stressors around Jaden's father. He would do things. He was missing for almost 2 years. Then
Oh.
pops up in front of my house, like, and I'm like,
Okay.
right. So see, but that piece will make you be like, okay, oh, how you? Oh, you're great. I'm great. I'm fine. Because they want to see you miserable, but you ain't gonna see
Hmm.
me. You see what I'm saying? So therapy, after God, therapy, it helped. And that's why they always say it's not only about praying, but you have to do the other piece. You have to go to therapy. You have to do whatever else
The
that needs to help
practical
you.
things. Yeah.
Yes. So it was very, very great for me. Very.
I know earlier you had mentioned something about like other women or whatever. How long did it take you to forgive your son's father for all the hurt that he caused you?
Um, I think last year, it's
Oh,
2020.
okay.
You know what? Last year, and
Hmm.
I want to say last year, because I thought I had forgive him in 2022, but I guess I didn't, because when he popped up in front of my house, after a year and a half, almost 2 years of not saying anything.
Mm. No
Nothing,
communication. Okay.
nothing, and he popped up, and then I was just so calm. But the crazy thing is, the Holy Spirit was prepping me for the past couple of weeks, and
Okay.
I'm not trying to be deep. I'm really not trying to be deep, but the Holy Spirit really, it was just the little things the Holy Spirit was telling me, like, okay, what if he pops up?
Mm.
Like, I would hear that in my head, like, what if this, how would you react? I'm like, no, I'm not, I don't like, and then they up, nope, this is not how you're gonna handle it. Then Joyce Meyer would come on the next day, and then Joyce Meyer would talk about forgiveness, and then it's like my heart. Then I would hear how you call it, Joel Osteen, and then I would hear different speakers like that would come on like my phone out of nowhere, and it would always talk
Mm-hmm.
about forgiveness. And from there, it prepped me. So when he came in front of there, you would have never thought we had a problem. I was so calm. I was like, oh, yeah, he's right here. Oh, could I see him? Yeah, here. You want to
Mm.
see him? Yeah, yeah. He's almost like he was 2 years. That's a lot of time, you know? And then the crazy thing about it, and people think I'm crazy, I showed my son who his father is. I said I would always sporadically show him, like, you know who this is? That's your father. It take a lot. It take a lot. It take a lot for you to do that. That's your father. So guess what? That's what I was saying. The Holy Spirit's prepping me. I remember a week, and that during that week, I was showing my son that. Some people might think I'm crazy, but I'm not. And guess what? When he got there, and remember I tell you he practiced witchcraft. He got there, and when I showed him Jaden, like Jaden was sleeping, and Jaden got up, I said, "Oh, who's that?" Daddy, daddy. He was
Oh.
so happy. The father couldn't, he ain't know what to do.
Oh
Like,
wow.
he was like, that's daddy. And he hugged him, whatever.
Hmm.
But a lot of time when people, no matter when they're practicing that stuff, say if Jaden was like, with him, you don't know. You not trying to be funny,
I
but you just don't know,
see.
because the enemy could make people do crazy things. Because I had to deal with that too during that time when I was healing. Like, it was a lot of spiritual attacks, a lot. So it lasts 2023, July 2023. That's
Hmm.
when he popped up after
Yeah.
after 1 year and a half. Yeah,
He lives in Jersey.
he lives 7 minutes away from me, girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, but it's
Wow.
crazy. I'm like, okay, yep. And then, oh, I forgot too. There was another time I was at church. This was a week before he came. I didn't even know. They called for a prayer altar to forgive, whatever. Girl, I went in front of that guy. He ain't even say up. I boo. I can't believe that. He just left me with my. I started going. He left me with a child. He didn't need not do anything. Ah. And guess what? He was raised with his mother. His father lived 5 minutes away from him, but never came and see him. And he started
Mm.
ministering to me and ministering. And I'm talking about it. I have goosebumps. He
Wow.
started. He's that's what the Holy Spirit will do. That's what. Yeah, yeah. So I forgave him for real, in 2023.
Hmm. I think it's great how you're showing Jaden who his dad is, even though he's not like
Right,
consistently there.
right,
'Cause at the end of the day, when he gets older, he'll see him for who he is.
right, right, right.
Wow. Seven
Yeah,
minutes away.
it's 7. No
Wow.
lie.
Uh, how have you been able to navigate single motherhood?
Through support, a lot of family support, friend support, my church family, therapy has been definitely a big part.
Hmm.
Um, my spirituality personally, as because I had to get me together, you know what I mean, because I was tormented. I didn't know who I was, and how could I raise a child not knowing who I am and what's going on with me. So navigating the single parenthood, I had to first start working on myself, like literally, like going in and and just taking day to day for what it is. j- just taking going
One
one day
day at
at
a
a time.
time.
One day at a time. My therapist was like, just take one, put one foot in front of the other. Just put one foot, and then that's what I did. And I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it would become more easier and easier and easier. You know what I mean? And then crazy thing is afterwards, Biden hit, girl, and then my father my father had his cousin that he was like, oh, she's a great person, da, da, da. And she came, and another one, two of them came, and they really,
Oh,
when I tell you, they really helped me out like a lot, because it was tough, because I was living on a third floor at that time, and it used to be like it was hard, like bringing Jaden up with my bags, or I would have to come back 2 or 3 times. If I had market, I used to have to take him to the market with me. Like it was hard, like it was hard, but little by little you learn how to be okay. And then I think once I became okay, and I got used to it, then
hmm
God's like, here's the two people. And it was like, oh, thank you,
that's
God.
awesome.
So yeah, I
Mundo.
know. God's like, look, don't you ever do that again, okay? I'm like, I
I
got you,
can't.
God. I got you. I'm not doing this. And that's why I say I'm not doing. And I've been celibate. May will be 4 years since I've been celibate. We
Congratulations.
not doing this again. Okay. Me and my sister, we had a baby together. We didn't have it together, but we had it around the same time. I
Hmm.
had Jaden in November. She had her son in December. She's already on baby number 3. And I'm still on baby number 1. Everybody's like, what? I'm like, no, we not doing, no, no.
Since Jaden's dad's not really in his life, who has been that male figure for him?
My my brother Jordan, all my brothers, all 3 of my
Okay.
brothers, even my brother that live in Texas, like he'll send me stuff sporadic. Go spend some time with Jaden. Like he'll cash at me funds, Zelle,
Oh.
like, or he'll call me, how is Jaden? Or do you need assistance? You can send him to me in the summertime if you need to. I'll take him for a month or whatever. So they've been like, when they see him, they don't play with him. Especially Jordan. He does not play with Jaden, but Jaden loves him, and he loved Jaden. And that's his godfather too. And so the other male figure also, David Depeche, he used to, oh
Hmm.
my God, he used to give me some pointers. Like he still do when we get to link up, but he was like amazing. Like he would tell me, Gerla's gonna be okay. How are you? Like, or he'll just he just do things out of nowhere. And I'm just like, man, like the male figures has been amazingly, so great. So it's other male figures too that's there,
Hmm.
but they like, I would say afar. Like they were like, okay, if he need basketball game, like we want to put him into sports, wait till he 5, we got you, we're gonna put him in. So it's been very overwhelming, but that's what God will do. That's what he will do. That's only God. I'm sorry, that's only that he'll send a village for you.
Yes. Yes. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. Right, because I
Yes.
know you have how old is your son now?
Isaiah will be 14 in September.
Oh, you
So he's like,
got a teenager.
don't
Yes.
remind me. Yes,
Ah.
I do. Yeah. Challenge because he's at that age where it's
Right,
peer pressure. He wants to do whatever he wants to do with his friends,
right.
but thankfully through prayer and his mentorship program, it's been great.
That's great.
He does see his dad,
Okay.
uh, but I know the importance of a village because I know I'm the kind of person that
Very
it's
important.
hard for me to ask for help
Right.
sometimes. So I'm not sure if you ever struggled with that.
I did in the beginning, but I learned
Okay,
quick. I learned quick, girl.
take it. Yes, yes, it's okay to ask for help.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. The village is important, because I was the no, no, no type of person too. And then my therapist was like, I'm gonna need you to knock that pride down, because that's your
It is
pride.
pride.
Because
Yes,
you need the help. And I was like, okay, but I learned quick, because things start to happen. You understand? And you're gonna have to reach out to somebody. My parents aren't here, so I can't call them at 2 a.m. What they gonna do? So that community that you have around you is
yes.
there. Like, and I had to, I really did.
It's so
Hmm.
important. So what have you discovered about yourself these last 5 years?
I discovered that, like, I discovered a lot of things that I didn't know I had about myself. I discovered different leadership skills that I didn't even know,
Hmm.
like, that I had, like I don't even know how to explain it, but it was just it's a different leadership, like, that I have about myself. Like, I'm not afraid. I'm fearless. Like, I feel like I'm extremely, like, confident.
Hmm.
I'm like, you can't tell me nothing now. And somebody come and tell me you not beautiful. Yeah, I don't care. Like, I have a flat butt, whatever. I'm beautiful, and that yeah. Cause I tell them
I
anybody that come
can't with
tell me,
you.
I tell them, I said, if you can't love it, then leave it. That's my motto. Love it or leave it. Cause I
Hmm.
know who I am. I found out who Gerla really is. God told me who I really was. And he said, you can do this. You're powerful. You're great. You're the same as if it was David, if it was John, Luke, whoever in the Bible, Esther in the Bible. Like, I gave you the tools for you to do whatever you need to. You can, it's, of course, it comes with its challenges, but all of those challenges is what's gonna help build you up. You understand, even more. So, like, it was a very interesting 5 years, like, watching me go from my lowest.
Hmm.
I mean, I've never been this low. Like, when I say, like, mentally, like, I've never experienced what it means to be at that place. It was a dark place.
Hmm.
And now seeing where God has taken me from that to where he's taking me now is just is amazing. It's just crazy. So it was truly an interesting journey, but became to be a beautiful journey. At the beginning, it was hard, but now it's beautiful because God has truly shown me, like, he never lies about what he says.
That's
Everything he
right.
said is never a lie. If you see it's not happening, there's something you're doing wrong, because they ain't God. You understand?
Hmm.
So it's just it showed me so much about myself. Like, I wasn't as, like, even as a young girl, I was never confident, never,
You
at all.
didn't come across as that
Girl, I was
though.
putting on a nice face, a beautiful face. A lot of
Okay.
people said that,
I
but through it,
never, yeah.
I wasn't, because I remember, I don't know if you remember when I was much heavier,
Okay.
and that right there too was a
Mm,
problem. And my
okay.
son's father, they got stuff to say about all that. After you done had a child for them, you understand, then you trying to get yourself together, but they had, so I became to find, like, also to find out where my true well come from, and it's from the word of God. Like, that was what kept me, um fasting and reading my word and tapping into my resources, which was my therapist, my church leaders, my friends, that helped me to just build myself up. It was so funny because out of nowhere, one of my girlfriends during COVID, she was like, Jola, I'm coming to spend 3 months because I'm working down the block from you. Is it okay?
Mm,
And I was like, yeah. But I love that she was there. I needed that at that time. It's the things that God will do. So she was with her son. And then I was watching Jaden and her son while she would
mhm,
work and everything. She would watch my son for me while, like, I have to do whatever I need to do. But I needed that at that time. So it built me up. And everybody that God will place in that type of season is there to build you up. Is there to put something in you that you would, that you need. You understand?
yes, there's a purpose.
I'm sorry for going on, but that's just
It's
that just
okay.
touched me.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
What would you tell your 21-year-old self if you could go back?
Oh, oh my God. I would say, look, do everything you need to do now. Truly do follow the word God. But do everything you need to do. Like, have a good time. I'm talking about in the Lord. You understand? And wait, because I remember at 21. I wanted to be married, and I'm like, now I'm like, you know, I still want to be married, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you don't know yourself, like what do you know, you really don't you really don't know what you're really getting yourself into. So at my 21 self, I would say, look, just wait, take your time, and let God lead you. And keep your virginity, because I lost it in my 30s, but um but I wish I did, because I'm not, for me, I wish I kept it, because I regret, I regret that I did that, because it's like the pile of things you got to go through, all the craziness you got to deal with. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. So I would tell her, just wait, take your time, and the right time, everything will happen. You know?
Yes. So you started a nonprofit.
Yes,
Tell us
yes, yes,
about
yes.
that and why was it birth or how was it birth?
So, I started a nonprofit. I think that was September 2022. I had the vision, probably like around 2020, but I didn't have the strength. Like, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have the confidence. I wasn't there yet. So it birthed from my personal experience as a single parent. Because I never understood single parenthood until I became a single parent. Like, I thought it was just, okay, put your child clothes on and put the shoes on, put that, give them food and then send them to bed. And let me tell you,
It ain't it.
it ain't
That ain't
it ain't
it.
it at all. No, it's not. So I learned, like, that people that are parenting on their own,
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy. Even parenting with two
Yes.
people, it's hard. I've had people come, because I was having sessions every month. I stopped it for a little bit. I'm supposed to pick it up back up soon, like probably in June or July.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of paused because I had to revamp some things. But I used to have sessions, single parent sessions every month, and
Okay.
it was a lot of married people in there that would come. We
Mm-hmm.
had several married people that came, and I remember I spoke to one of them, and they said, well, sometimes we feel like single parents too, like,
That's
let's just,
a whole other
that's
conversation.
a whole nother conversation. And
Yeah.
I hear a lot of mothers say, look, my husband's there, but he ain't doing nothing, or whatever, or whether it's vice versa. But
Mm-hmm.
I that it birthed it, that from my experience, that's what it birthed, because I wanted to make families feel like, okay, you need a break, you gotta pause. So that's why I started coming up with the certain events, and then I would, have the kids, I would pay for the kids to go have fun while the parents,
Babysitter.
relax and stuff. So far we had 3 of them. I'm trying to do more, so that's why I'm saying I'm revamping, because I'm working on, like, grants and ways of getting funding,
Yes.
without having to,
Come out of pocket.
tap into some, right. So
Yes.
that's why I'm like, I'm trying to, work on that, because I really feel like once parents get a feel of what it's like to take a break, then a lot of times they can start doing it on their own, because they have the feeling. Sometimes you keep going and going and going and going, and you don't stop, because you're doing everything for yourself. And some days I'm like, I remember I called my mom. She was here last year. I called her while she was here. I said, I'm going away for a weekend. Since you leaving next week, because she was, she came for vacation. I said, you leaving next week? I'm leaving. I'm going for 3 days. And I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Picked up the phone. I dialed in a hotel.
Good for you, girl.
Yep.
Yes.
I went. I think I was in New Brunswick by myself. Oh my God! That was just. I came back, like, more
Fresh.
like, oh yes, I was ready for my son. Like, come on, I got you, because boys are, they're a little bit more. They're a handful.
Yes.
Okay, so I needed it mentally, physically. I just needed it. So that's why I said also having a village is important. So it was groomed from that. And it's funny because I did it when I had the program. I also felt how it felt.
Mhm.
to just have a relaxed day. And that's what I started doing. Every quarter I'll go somewhere.
Yes, Patty said those solo getaways are everything. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, I felt so good. It's like because I have mothers that's like, well, you didn't miss your son. It's like I miss him, but I'm happy I'm where I'm at. But I mean, he's okay.
Yes.
You know what I
As long
mean?
as he's
So
safe. Yes.
that's it. I make sure he's in a safe hands, and I go.
Yeah.
You know, because it's no point of me being there if I keep calling and seeing how he's doing. I probably called maybe twice when I was
Hmm.
there. I mean, I know people might be like, "Oh, she crazy. You went away for
No.
3 days." Yeah, my mom got him, and we had the Biden people here. They was helping, so they was my family. They
Oh,
were
sorry.
those were my cousins, so I was like, "We good." So no, I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel guilty. Nope. Because I'm getting better for him, so I can be able to function. Because it's a lot dealing with parenting, being a parent.
It sure enough is. So, what is the name of your organization?
Touched by Inspire. It's touched by Inspire.
Okay.
So basically,
David.
is inspiring, huh? I don't see the people
Oh,
up
you
there.
can't
Oh, look at
see
my
the.
smile. Oh, I can't see it, but
David,
that's
he put the Biden
oh,
people.
which David Depeche?
Yes.
Hey David, I just mentioned your name. I don't know if you was on, but yeah,
Patty, more people are laughing about
right.
that. Yes.
The
My dad calls my cousins the same thing.
the
Patty said, I used to feel guilty, but I had to learn that it's okay to step away sometimes.
Yes, yeah, it's okay. Because the thing is, if you have a mental breakdown,
Hmm.
somebody who's gonna take care of that child? Like, make yourself better
Yes.
so you can be able to handle your business with him. You understand? So I got used to doing that. Because at first I was very protective over him because his father. I felt like, oh, his father left. I'm not trying to leave him because that guilt come over you. And then I'm like, no. After a while, I'm like, no. I have
Mm.
to take care of me too. You understand? So I needed that time. So that's what I did. I agree with you, Patty girl. Keep doing it.
Yes. So what's in store for the organization? I know you said you're revamping a few things. So is it solely for single parents, single
So
moms, single dads?
before it was solely for that, but I'm finding
Okay.
that families been coming to me for resources, and
Okay.
now I'm trying to revamp and find like grants and stuff. Not so much find, but I'm looking at some right now where I
Okay.
can do like more activities. I really want to just be that person that brings out like brunches and like events and everything, resources. Sometimes talk about self-care days, how important it is,
Hmm.
mental health days, how important it is. So that's my
Hmm.
sole focus.
Okay.
I've also became like I'm a certified doula as well, and I'm finding that um, that's another layer. But that one I'm working on another project for something different
Okay.
because postpartum is a whole
Mm.
nother situation. You understand? And I'm finding that a lot of that is getting out of hands today. Like they don't really have people to help with postpartum, and I feel like dealing with families, single parent families, we going through postpartum every day. So like if
I
you're not
can't.
taking right, if you're not taking care of yourself, and like we were just saying, you're gonna be going through that, and that's what I'm looking at. So I'm looking right now, actively looking at grants where I can help and provide those services and resources if I can. If somebody don't have money to go out, and I can provide that. Like, yeah, here, take 2 days,
Mm.
go to a hotel, like whatever. So that's what I'm like working on actively, and that's why I've been on a standstill a little bit. I'm
No
kind of
pause.
silent. Yeah. Hmm.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Revamping. It's
Right.
good.
Right.
Yeah. Because you
Right.
never know how God's going to even speak to you during that time,
Yes.
that downtime to give you like ideas and creative ideas and
Right.
resources to
Right.
fund all those things.
Right.
Oh,
Exactly. And that's exactly. Yep.
Patricia asks, is it for married folks too?
Yes, and that's what we were saying because families, like I've gotten a lot of calls from two parent
Home.
home, like the mom and dad's married or
Mm-hmm.
not, whatever. and it's like it's pretty much the same. Sometimes the mom and dad need their own time, but they can't get away because they don't trust they don't trust people with their kids, which I get, and it's a lot of that. You do got to be
Mm-hmm.
careful, or they don't have the financial funds to do it, or maybe they don't have childcare, and that's why I have a few resources of you know confirmed good childcare resources that I can assist with. So yes, we would definitely be helping that as well.
That's great. It was great having you this
Yes,
evening and catching
yes,
up. Thank you so
yes.
much for being candid and like just transparent about your journey. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
And I
you.
really look forward to just seeing what God does through you and your organization and for Jaden.
Yes.
Before we go, does anyone have any questions for the beautiful Miss Gerla? Let's see. Oh, Patricia said she's proud of
Thank,
you. Oh.
thank you, Patty. But actually, Patricia, she used to be a part of my village too, because she would. I'm like, Pat, could you take Jaden for me for like 3 hours? She like, yes, and I guess they used to tour her between her and my daughter. I mean, my son and her daughter. I think they drive her crazy.
Oh.
So thank you,
Um,
Patricia.
okay, so far there's no questions, but I guess before we go, what are three things you
Oh,
want to
thanks,
leave?
David. I just now saw
Oh,
that. Thank you, David. I hope you heard what I had to say about you because you was definitely a part of that village.
oh, everyone.
Thanks,
Yes.
Patty.
What are three things would you like to leave with those who are watching or for those who are going to be watching later on? Because I am saving this
Oh,
live.
awesome. So I would say the three things. Just believe in. First of all, believe what the word that God says. That's true. Because honestly, if I'm sitting here right
Mm,
now, I'm not trying to be deep, but that helped. Believe in yourself. Um, just know that whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. It's gonna be obstacles, but
mm,
those obstacles are building you up. They're helping you to get better. It's just getting you to face whatever else you have to face in this life. We're gonna keep facing different things, and I would just say, just keep your faith. The third thing, just keep your faith. Like, yes, nothing in this life is easy to get through, to do, whether you in business, whether you work in a 9 to 5. You work in a 9 to 5, you won't be, some of us don't can't stand our bosses. I love my boss, but I'm just saying some of us can't stand our bosses. Some of us don't like how much we getting paid. But if you're doing the business, it comes with a lot of obstacles too, because you gotta do so much, and sometimes the money's not coming in. You're not getting paid while you're paying your employers.
mm,
So pick one, but just have faith in it. You understand? Like, be confident, believe in it, and most of all, put God in it. Like the word, it does everything. The word is just it's law. It's just law. Like, even the people on outside use it. I hear P Diddy's talking about the Bible. Not saying he shouldn't, but I'm just saying, like, but he
mm.
even understand it. So
Yeah.
us, like, we're like, how can we can't even we can't even follow through with it. He can, and it's working for them, so why can't we
Mm.
make it work for us? You understand? So everything doesn't come easy. So those are the three things I would leave with you.
Thank you so much. For those who joined us, thank you as well.
Hmm.
If you're not following Drilla, be sure to follow her. I think her page is at the top.
Yes,
Is it showed at the top? I think it's showed at the top.
yes.
And what's your Instagram handle for the nonprofit?
Okay, so mine is touched underscore TOUCHED underscore by underscore inspire, N as in Nancy, SPIREE. So it's touched by
Do you want to type
inspire.
it into the comments?
Of
Like, can you type
course,
it in?
I sure can. That's not a problem.
But this was great. I'm
Thank
glad I
you.
chat with you.
And thank you so much for having me. I
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. I love what you're doing. And sometimes I watch you with your son and I'm like, okay, I even get ideas from what I see you doing, and it's like because you're ahead of me,
Okay.
so it's like you prepare me. So I always like to watch
Oh,
parents,
girl, it's a
single
struggle.
parents. I'm t- all my girlfriends are like, oh, girl, at every level is a different level of things you got to deal with. So I'm like,
Yes.
well, okay, I guess we're not getting no more breaks. That's it. I was like, once you have, once they're put in the womb, there's no break. There's nothing till I guess you're done. We're past way.
Yes.
We're never done with our kids. So I was like, oh man, because I was thinking that I was gonna get a break at 5. Because when I had a toddler, they was like, absolutely not, absolutely.
No, no, because when they start doing the activities, the birthday parties, the friend dates, play dates.
Yes,
Yes,
it's a lot. Yeah, I'm
it
just
is.
like, wow. So thank you so much.
No
I appreciate you so much, and keep
problem.
going and do the work of God, because this is
Thank,
definitely it. Mm.
thank you. I appreciate it. It's only gonna be for a few weeks because baseball season will be starting. So
Oh, see, I'm telling
I
you,
won't have time.
I feel you. Look, we do
Yes,
what we can.
yes, absolutely. God knows my heart.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you again, Gerla. Have a wonderful evening and good night to everyone else.
You
Take
too.
care.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.